Diet. It's a four-letter word and nobody likes it. Hey, I'm Dr. John Schellenberg from the One Light Weight Loss Center here in Fargo, North Dakota. Going on a diet stinks because the average result of a diet is what? A 3-pound weight gain. Talk about going in the wrong direction. The Department of Health states that 95% of all diets fail. Well, you go on a diet and if you're going to gain 3 pounds, talk about frustration. No wonder you're not going to go on it, and if you do, you feel like you're just going to fail. Well, I'm here to tell you that you didn't fail on your diets failed you. And look, you don't have to live this way anymore. Doing the weight loss, weight gain yo-yo is insane. Let me share with you one of the biggest pitfalls, one of the biggest reasons or roadblocks that diets have failed you. Here it is. Normal calorie reduction based diets do not target abnormal fat. All right, wait a minute. You think that just going on a diet, restricting your calories, you're going to burn fat, right? Because all fat's the same? Nothing could be further from the truth. All right? You actually have 3 types of fat. You have structural fat, reserve fat, and abnormal fat. In fact, abnormal fat is the stuff that you need to target. Abnormal fat is what's responsible for taking money out of our wallet and years from our life. All right, let me illustrate the differences between these 3 fats using an illustration that I like to call fat and banking. Structural fat, think about that for a second. Structural fat is the type of fat that packs around your organs, so it keeps them in place. So if you're bouncing on a treadmill or a trampoline, your gallbladder doesn't fall out. Okay? It's also on the bottom of your feet, so it's like kind of like cushioning. It actually lines the nerve cells as well, so that your nerve transmission impulses go really, really fast. That's really not the kind of fat you want to lose. But that fat, that structural fat, is like a savings account. It's your cushion, and everybody likes to have a little cushion in their bank account. All right, now let's go to the reserve fat. Reserve fat, that's like your checking account. So think of this. Think of it this way. You go to work and you're in a paycheck and you put money in your checking account. Then your bills come in and you write checks to pay those bills. Well, that's a lot like, your reserve fat is a lot like that checking account, because your reserve fat stores are going to be refilled during the day while you're eating. And then as you go to bed at night, you're not eating, your brain still needs to function, your heart still needs to beat, your lungs still need to work. So there's a lot of bodily functions that are occurring while you're not eating. So those require energy, and that comes out of your reserve fat. Now, all the excess calories that we eat that the body doesn't use or store in other ways goes directly into abnormal fat. So abnormal fat is the stuff you see around in your face and in your tummy. Like I used to have this big belly out front, and it sits around underneath the arms, and it's that ugly stuff that we really don't like. And the thing is this abnormal fat is like a long-term certificate. Your excess calories get stored in a vault, and you can't access that vault very easily. It's like putting your money into a long-term IRA or mutual fund. You can't get to it. Now, here's the problem. When you go on a diet, generally you're going to restrict your calories, and you think that if I restrict my calories, all these bodily functions are going to require energy, and that's going to come from my abnormal fat stores. Nothing could be further from the truth. What actually happens when you go on a diet, it's like taking a pay cut. If you take a pay cut, you still have all the same bills to pay. What happens is then first thing you do is you clean out your checking account, your reserve fat. The second thing, once the reserve fat is gone or your checking account is empty, now you go into your savings account or your structural fat. And once that's gone, because you can't get into the long-term bond or the certificate, in this case you can't get into the abnormal fat, you start to steal. And in the body situation, you steal from your muscle. Now, the brain actually thinks it's starving at this point, so it goes into a starvation mode or a metabolic lockdown mode. And what causes you then is to stop losing weight and start conserving weight. In fact, it puts you into a fat storage situation. And that's why the average result of a diet is a 3-pound weight gain, because your brain's basically saying, I don't want you to do that again. If you do, I got to have an extra 3 pounds on the cushion side. Well, this is absolutely ludicrous, and is it any wonder that most diets fail? What you really need is access to your abnormal fat vault without touching your reserve or your structural fat, and definitely without stealing from your muscle. And that's just one reason why my weight loss program, the One Light Weight Loss System, works so well. We target the abnormal fat, and when you do that, you can lose a ton of weight real safe, real quick, and when done under proper doctor supervision, you can do this without drugs, without surgery, without exercise, and without these fancy engineered foods. So how exactly do we unlock the vault to your abnormal fat? Well, actually there's two ways. There's two things that's done in conjunction in this program that work so well. Number one, it's the eating schedule. We follow what I call a 2-8-16 eating plan or schedule. And what that means is there's 2 meals a day. It's consumed, those 2 meals are consumed each in one sitting, and those 2 meals are consumed in an 8-hour eating window, which is followed by a 16-hour non-eating window. And this has been shown to keep your brain out of thinking that it's starving, and actually will then start to unlock the vault to your abnormal fat. Now, the second thing that we do is we give you a very specific homeopathic formula called the Chirothin weight loss formula. And what it's designed to do is it's a sequence of amino acids that talks to your brain to unlock the vault to your abnormal fat. Also contained within the homeopathic formula are things like blood sugar stabilizers, fat mobilizers, and an appetite suppressant. So now you're in a situation where you're mobilizing your abnormal fat. You can dramatically reduce your caloric intake without feeling like you're starving, without feeling hungry, and without cravings. And now you're accessing a ton of abnormal fat while leaving your structural fat, your reserve fat, and your muscle alone. Voila! I have turned you into a fat-burning machine. And this is an amazing concept that works really, really well and will work for you. My patients tell me time and time again how simple and effective this system really is.
I guess my husband says he thinks that I'm happier. I don't know, maybe sometimes you don't notice things yourself, but I'd say I'm happier. Because like I said, it was just, it's frustrating to gain weight, and it's expensive with your clothes, and it's expensive to lose weight too, and you got to buy new clothes, but you're a lot happier, and I definitely feel healthier. That's the one thing I noticed, not having as much carbs and sugar in me.
Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to have a real conversation about your weight loss goals and to find out if this system is right for you, please give me a call at 701-306-0714 for your free consultation with me. I'm Dr. John Schellenberg. I'm helping hundreds of people lose thousands of pounds right here in Fargo, North Dakota.